Have you ever caught yourself judging someone harshly, getting triggered by a comment, or feeling an emotion that seems bigger than the moment? These could be signs you're projecting your shadow, Carl Jung's term for casting your hidden, repressed traits onto others. The shadow, those parts of you like anger, shame, or fear you've buried, doesn't just stay hidden. It shapes how you see the world. Recognizing projection is a game changer for self-awareness and growth. But in a world of noise, constant reactions, and endless distractions, how do you spot it? What if silence and boundaries could help you reclaim your shadow? Let's explore 5 signs you're projecting your shadow and how to turn them into steps toward wholeness. Are you ready to look in the mirror of your psyche? Carl Jung described the shadow as the unconscious parts of your psyche. Traits, desires, or emotions like jealousy or insecurity you've repressed. Projection happens when you cast these onto others, seeing your shadow in them instead of yourself. It's tied to the collective unconscious, the shared reservoir of archetypes like the victim or rebel. Jung said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." Projection drains your psychic energy, the life force of your thoughts and emotions, keeping you stuck and reactive. In modern life, X's viral posts and heated debates amplify projection, making it hard to see your shadow clearly. Shadow work, through individuation, integrates these traits for wholeness. So, when have you felt a strong reaction to someone? Could it be your shadow projecting? The first sign you're projecting your shadow is overreacting to someone's flaws or behaviors. A colleague's arrogance triggers rage, or a friend's laziness sparks contempt. Why? Because their flaw mirrors a trait you've buried in your shadow, like your own suppressed pride or avoidance. Jung called this projecting the shadow onto a hook in others. On X, a post boasting success might enrage you, reflecting your hidden ambition or insecurity. This overreaction scatters your psychic energy, keeping you from individuation. Pause and ask, why does this bother me? Is this trait in my shadow? So, who's triggered you lately? What flaw might you be projecting? The second sign is harsh judgment, condemning others for traits you secretly fear in yourself. You might judge an ex-influencer as fake, projecting your own fear of inauthenticity, or call someone selfish, hiding your own unacknowledged self-interest. These judgments stem from the shadow's archetypes, like the critic or victim, rooted in the collective unconscious. Harsh judgment disconnects you from your psyche's truth, wasting psychic energy on blame. Jung said, "The projection of the shadow creates a veil between you and reality. To break it, reflect. What do I judge in others? Is it something I deny in myself? So what judgment have you made recently? What shadow trait might it reveal?" The third sign is feeling irrationally threatened by someone. Envy, fear, or defensiveness that feels outsized. An X post about someone's success might spark jealousy, or a friend's confidence might make you feel small. This often reflects a shadow archetype, like the hero you've suppressed, fearing your own potential. This threat response traps your psychic energy in reaction, blocking individuation. In X's world of comparison, these feelings are constant, amplifying projection. Ask, why do I feel threatened? Is this my shadow's unclaimed strength? So, when have you felt threatened by someone? What part of your shadow might be speaking? The fourth sign is blaming others for your problems, pointing fingers to avoid your shadow. You might blame a coworker for a missed deadline, ignoring your own procrastination, or resent an ex-troll for ruining your mood, projecting your inner turmoil. This reflects shadow archetypes, like the victim, keeping you powerless. Blaming scatters your psychic energy, preventing you from facing your role in your struggles. Jung said, "The shadow is what you do not wish to be, but are." To reclaim power, ask, what am I blaming others for? Is this my shadow's responsibility? So, who have you blamed lately? What shadow trait might you be avoiding? The fifth sign is recurring emotional triggers, patterns of intense emotions like anger, shame, or fear that keep surfacing. An ex comment always sparks defensiveness, or a friend's behavior repeatedly hurts you. These triggers point to complexes in your shadow, tied to archetypes like the wounded child or rebel, rooted in past wounds. These patterns drain your psychic energy, keeping you stuck. Shadow work means noticing these triggers and exploring them. Ask, what keeps triggering me? What wound or archetype is in my shadow? Jung said, the shadow is a tight passage, a narrow door. Triggers are the door to integration. So what's a recurring trigger in your life? What shadow might it reveal? Why do we keep projecting? Because we're too available, caught in a web of constant reaction. X notifications, social demands, and work pressures keep your psyche reactive, amplifying shadow projections. You judge, blame, or feel threatened, losing psychic energy to X's noise. Being on also invites others' projections. A friend's victim archetype drains you. A critic's shadow triggers you. This availability blocks individuation, keeping your shadow unconscious. Here's the truth. Availability isn't awareness. It's a trap. It fuels projection, hiding your truth. What would happen if you paused the noise? Who's draining your energy? And what shadow might you face if you reclaimed it? This is where shadow work begins. In silence, not avoidance, but conscious unavailability. When you pause X alerts, social pressures, and impulsive reactions, you create space to see your projections. Silence is like a mirror, reflecting your shadow's archetypes: victim, rebel, hero, and their lessons. Imagine this. An ex post triggers envy. Instead of reacting, choose silence. Ask, what's this feeling? What shadow archetype am I projecting? Like Jung's active imagination, this pause lets you dialogue with your shadow, reclaiming its energy for individuation. Jung said, the shadow is a treasure when it is integrated. Silence uncovers that treasure. Try this. Next time you're triggered, pause. Take 3 slow breaths. Ask, what am I projecting? What's my shadow teaching me? That silence is your first step toward wholeness. So, when was the last time you chose silence over reaction? What projection did you uncover? Individuation, Jung's path to wholeness, means integrating your shadow by recognizing projections. Each sign, overreaction, judgment, feeling threatened, blaming, triggers, points to a shadow archetype needing integration. A judgmental critic might hide your self-doubt. A blamed victim might reveal your power. Through journaling, dream analysis, or active imagination, you reclaim these traits. In the Red Book, Jung faced his projections, dialoguing with archetypes to integrate his psyche. You can too. Ask, what's this projection story? What archetype is it tied to? What wound needs healing? Here's a step. Reflect on a recent trigger. Write it down. Ask, what shadow am I projecting? How can I integrate it? This is your individuation unfolding. So, what's one projection you're ready to face? What wisdom might it offer? Individuation requires boundaries, conscious limits on your energy. Boundaries aren't rejection, they're protection for your shadow work. Saying no to a draining text, skipping an X argument, choosing silence over explanation, you're saving your psychic energy for your psyche's growth. Boundaries stop projection both ways. When you're unavailable for others' dramas, you deflect their shadows. A friend's victim can't drain you. A critic's judgment can't trigger you. This stirs resistance. People may call you cold, selfish, changed, but that's not about you. It's about them losing your old role. Jung said, "To confront the shadow is to confront oneself." Boundaries ensure you confront your shadow. So where are you overgiving your energy? Where do you need to say no to stop projecting? Are you ready to set a boundary even if it's misunderstood? Recognizing and integrating projections comes with a price. When you set boundaries, choose silence, and prioritize individuation, relationships shift. People who relied on your availability, your reactions, your energy may pull away. Connections built on mutual projection, like shared blame or judgment, may fade. You'll face loneliness, doubt, even fear. Jung called this sacred solitude, the isolation needed to meet yourself. It's not about rejecting others. It's about embracing your shadow. It's the silence where your archetypes integrate, your projections dissolve, your self emerges. This solitude feels heavy at first. You'll wonder if you're too harsh, if you're losing everyone. But you're not losing, you're gaining. You're shedding roles that hid your shadow, connections that fueled projection, fears that kept you small. So, are you ready to embrace this solitude for your wholeness? Are you willing to be misunderstood, to reclaim your shadow? Are you brave enough to face your projections, even if it means standing alone for a while? When you recognize your projections, you transform. Your psychic energy, once lost in reactions, becomes a beacon, radiant, centered, yours. You stop being a puppet of X triggers or others' shadows. You become a creator, living from yourself. Jung said, "The integration of the shadow is the apprenticeship to the self." This is the power of individuation. Your projections become teachers. Your shadow becomes strength. Your archetypes guide your purpose. Your silence becomes a mirror, reflecting your psyche's truth. Your boundaries become a shield, protecting your wholeness. You move through life with presence, not reaction. People will feel it. Some will embrace your depth, others will resist it. But you'll trust your shadow's wisdom, not their approval. Imagine a life where you're not controlled by triggers or projecting your fears. A life where shadow work lights your path, where archetypes empower your purpose. That's the gift of individuation. That's the path to wholeness. Individuation through shadow work is a rebirth. It's not about erasing your projections. It's about understanding them. Your shadow isn't out there. It's in you, rooted in the collective unconscious. Every silence you choose, every boundary you set, every projection you reclaim brings you closer to yourself. Whole, authentic, true. You'll lose things on this journey. Relationships that thrived on projection, roles that hid your truth, fears that comforted you. But what you gain is infinite. a life that feels guided, a peace that feels unshakable, a strength that feels eternal. Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." This is your privilege. This is your rebirth. So I'm looking at you now, through this screen, and I'm asking, how long will you let your shadow project onto others? How long will you stay tethered to triggers? What would happen if you chose silence, faced your projections, and walked the path to wholeness? Shadow work starts with one choice: to see your hidden self. If this message resonates, take a step toward your truth. Write in the comments, "I choose my shadow." Let's see how many of you are ready to reclaim your projections. And if you want to dive deeper, check out my book, Beyond the Shadow, linked in the pinned comment. It's a guide to Jung's shadow work, with tools to integrate your psyche and find yourself. Don't stop here. The next video will take you further. Keep watching, because your journey to wholeness is just beginning. And if this spoke to you, hit that subscribe button. Join this community of people choosing depth over distraction, one silence at a time. You are not just your reactions. You are your shadow, and your wholeness is waiting for you to claim it. See you in the next video.